It's Q&A day. Do you like my football manager pin? Very cool. I'm going to do the Q&A a little bit differently this time. I've got the camera with me at work. As the questions come in, I'm going to try and sneak off into a corner and answer them. So it's 8:05. No one else is here yet, but they could walk in any moment. In fact, here comes one now. So we're going to hide. Hello and welcome to a new segment of the vlog called Things I Won't Miss About Teaching. I won't miss days like this. As you'll know, the reason we're doing a Q&A and a bit of a all over the place episode today is because I'm here for a parents' evening. That starts straight after school finishes at like 3:30. We're going to be here all the way through until 7 o'clock. Not going to get home until about 8. By the time I've eaten, it's going to be about 9. It's just a long day. But what makes it even more ridiculous, and the thing that I won't miss about teaching, is the whole inefficiency and the way the system prevents you from thinking for yourself and deploying your own resources in the way that's most logical and sensible for you, me, as a professional. I'm teaching 0 lessons today. Wednesdays were traditionally a day where I had my 6th form and year 11 groups, all the exam groups. At this point, they're either all in exams or on study leave. No lessons at all. I still had to be here 8:15 this morning. I'm not actually doing anything customer facing, if you like, to put a business slant on it. I'm not actually speaking to a student or parent or anyone else, doing anything useful, really, until about 3:30, 4 o'clock when the parents' evening starts. It's just silly. Right, let's see if we can get a question. I don't know how long I'm going to get away with sitting here without anyone noticing what I'm doing. I've already heard a kid walk past the office and say, I think he's vlogging in there. I am vlogging in here because I have to be here. If I was at home, I could be vlogging at home. I'd get more work done at home because I wouldn't be constant. Because the other thing is, I'm making a joke out of the fact that I'm running around the school trying to find a place to hide to do this. I'm also trying to find a place to hide to just get on with some work. I have got stuff I could be doing, but because of exams and other things that are going on around the school, there's nowhere to do them. There's nowhere to get any peace and quiet. You can probably hear the background noise now. So we'll do a couple of quick fire questions. James Murray says, what's the score prediction for the Europa League tonight, Kev? I'm setting myself up for a fail here because by the time this episode comes out it will already have happened. Man United are going to win, presumably. Don't understand why they're not playing on a Thursday night. I thought it was a Thursday night cup. Ollie Byrne, what team do I support? I support Peterborough. AJ325, do I think the gifts from Football Manager are a reaction to Loki Doki's video? No, I do not. Kirups, how's Andy getting on with the fidget cube? He really likes it. Tom Williams, has the period since the fidget spinner video been the most challenging period of YouTubing? Yes, it has. Stacey Ellis, if you could appear before your younger self just as he was getting started on his spectrum, how would you blow his mind with the advancement in gaming and technology? The best way to blow his mind would probably be to get my phone and show him the Kenny Dalglish Soccer Manager video that I released on the gaming channel from earlier this week. It doesn't show him an advancement in gaming, but it does show him mind-blowing handheld technology where he can see the game that he's currently playing on his spectrum in beautiful, shiny, tiny little flat screen pocket glory. The thing I wanted most of all when I was a kid was a little handheld TV, and I never got one, and I really wanted one. The idea that 25 years later something like this would exist and do everything that it can do would blow my 8-year-old mind. Gaming wise, I'd just stick him on Football Manager 17 or FIFA 17. Again. Georgie Jack wants to know if I thought about who I'm voting for in the general election. Yes, I have. I hope you've all thought about who you're voting for as well. However, I'm not going to talk about it on the vlog because politics and religion, they're two things I don't talk about ever. Nothing good comes from talking about them. It's one of those topics where people are never going to change their opinion, so I don't feel the need to add mine to the discussion because there's no benefit to the communication. But yeah, I know who I'm going to vote for, I think, unless something changes between now and then. Right, next batch of questions. Bad Jokes FM says, I know you probably have had this question before. I have, but any tips for growing a Football Manager channel? Do you have a recommended amount of episodes per season? I have my How to Be a Football Manager YouTuber series on the gaming channel. for those of you who've asked before about why I don't blog at school, obviously there's the obvious child protection issue, which I think we can probably all figure out anyway. But the other reason is, it's really hard finding the time. I mean, I'm not teaching at all today, and I'm still trying to find time and place where I can get decent audio levels and not be disturbed for 2 or 3 minutes. What a hectic job this is. As I was saying about being a Football Manager YouTuber, there's a series on my gaming channel, which I would strongly recommend you go and watch as a starting point. Other than that, just general tips. I've always said, don't worry at all about views or anything like that for the first 100 episodes. Your first 100 episodes are about learning to do it. So you should make sure that for your first 100 episodes, each one is better than the one before. You try and improve with every one. You work on things like being able to talk into a microphone without lots of ums and stutters and things like that, and learn to edit that stuff out when it happens. I don't do it all the time, but there are times when they still need editing out, so they still get edited out. But just try and make each one better than the one before. I think 100 episodes is a decent amount of time to get used to talking into a camera. It takes a lot of time to learn to talk into a lens and not do what I just did with the ums. But with practice, it generally comes. So just keep plugging away at it. Don't even look at your viewing or subscriber figures for the first 100 episodes. When you get to 100 episodes, send me and anyone else who does Football Manager YouTube your 100th episode and ask for feedback then. Because that's when you've spent 100 episodes really honing your craft, doing it your way, learning to do it how you think it should be done, and then get feedback from us. Don't be sending us your first 2 or 3 episodes, because my first episode was awful and I wouldn't watch that. Everyone's first episode is awful. The feedback is much less valuable when it's just, if someone sends me one of their first episodes, the feedback is always just practice talking into a camera, practice talking into a microphone. Whereas after 100 episodes, practice isn't the answer, and we can be a lot more specific and helpful with the advice. So that's what I would say. Go and watch the series on the gaming channel. Do 100 episodes without caring if anyone's watching, but then when you get to 100 episodes, send it out to every Football Manager YouTuber you enjoy watching and get their feedback. We'll all be happy to help, I'm sure. And that's when you can really start focusing in and making awesome content. I think I'm up to about 600 or 700 episodes now. It doesn't take as long as you think. That's in about just over a year and a half. 1 or 2 episodes a day every day, mostly 1 episode a day though. Daft Joey Jojo, what a name. This is an odd one. Let's say next month the new government gets voted in, they decide money is the root of all evil and abolish money. Would I continue YouTubing, Twitching, writing, videographing and practicing my awesome trampoline skills to become the next British Olympic gold medal winning gymnast? I'd keep doing some of that stuff. I don't know that I'd write unless I got an urge to write something. Probably if I had more time I would write. It's interesting, I certainly wouldn't teach. If there was no need to earn money, I wouldn't come here every day. However, I would do YouTube, I would do Twitch, I would write, because I was doing all that stuff long before I was earning money from it anyway. It took at least a year before I got my first couple of quid out of doing YouTube, and I loved every minute of it. And I've been doing my podcast for 7 years and never really earned any significant money out of that, and still do that every week because I love doing it. So I certainly wouldn't sit around doing nothing. I wouldn't ever see myself, even if I became a billionaire in the lottery or something, I wouldn't just sit on a beach or lay around doing something. I always need to be working, but I want to get to the situation in my life in the not too distant future where I work because I choose to, not because I have to. On the topic of work, here's a work philosophy for you. I wish I could remember where I saw this or heard this. I picked it up somewhere over the last couple of weeks, and it's one of those things that's just been bouncing around in my brain, and it speaks to me on a number of levels, because we've had a few discussions lately about the amount of money I've spent doing certain things, my attitude to work, that kind of thing. And this diagram brilliantly helps me explain the current situation I find myself in, because what we've got there is a triangle with 3 points: cheap, quick, and brilliant. And any job or any piece of work that I do, or anyone else does really, unless you're working with a complete genius, at best you can pick 2 of those categories. So you can have a piece of work that is cheap and brilliant, but it's probably going to take a long time. You can have something that's quick and cheap, but it's not going to be very good. You could have quick and brilliant, but that sure as heck isn't going to be cheap. And the situation I'm finding myself in at the moment is I need to be at a certain level of income by Christmas. So quick definitely applies. But in order to grow the channels and improve what I'm doing, the quality has to be as high as it can possibly be. So we have to be brilliant as well, which means by definition at the moment, what I'm doing can't be cheap. That's why I'm investing so much money in the business right now. However, a time will come where time becomes less of an issue, at which point we can maintain the same high standards but do things at a lower price because I have more time on my hands. So we're going to see a shift over the next few months from here up to here somewhere. That's the plan anyway. We have another question. This one's from Gavin Bush, who wants to know what's the best and worst moments in my life to date. That's a big question for a quick fire Q&A. Worst moment? My mum dying, I guess. Very morbid, although trying to draw the positives that have happened since then, it's certainly where I got my work ethic from. We've talked about that before. It's why I'm so determined to succeed and live the best possible life I can. But it was horrible at the time. It's horrible now. I wish she was still alive. But I'd like to think it's part of what's made me who I am and made me the way I am. I don't want that to sound like I'm glad it happened, because I'm really not. Best thing that's ever happened in my life? It's really easy to say all the stuff like the kids being born, meeting Anna, that kind of thing, but I don't know, I want to twist the question slightly because I've had a really good life so far. There's loads of things that are best. The most significant thing in my life though, which I've decided that's the question I'm answering, was the moment I realised I didn't have to work in a job I didn't enjoy. And I'm not even talking about this time, I'm talking about years ago, back in 2008, end of 2008, early 2009. The financial crisis had happened. I wasn't able to work as a financial advisor anymore. My business at the time had failed. I had gone back to working in estate agents for about a year, hated it because I just hate the whole estate agent's way of doing business. It's similar to what I was moaning about here this morning, just the fact you're expected to be there really early in the morning, stay there all day even if nothing's happening, but then if an appointment comes in off the street at 7 o'clock in the evening, of course you're going to stay. And I'll never understand that type of work ethic. Being at work or doing work for the sake of doing work is stupid. But I realised I didn't have to do that anymore. I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to sit in a call centre. The reason to have a job is to learn the skills to be able to get to the point where you can do what you want to do for money. So I went to university, I learned the skills I had to do to be able to become a teacher. I've learned so much being a teacher. Without 5 years of being a teacher, I wouldn't be able to be a YouTuber, because 5 years ago, I was afraid to make phone calls. Well, not 5 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, when I was working in that call centre, I hated the fact I had to pick up the phone and talk to people. I certainly couldn't have talked into a camera like this. But 5 years of being a teacher, the university time that went before it, has made me, again, shaped me into this version of me that we have now. And because of that, I'm on the verge of being able to spend all day, every day doing what I love. And it all stems back to that one moment where I just sat there. It was like the 22nd of December 2008. We were working stupid overtime just before Christmas. Nothing was happening. And we'd done nothing all day. The phones weren't ringing, but we got a phone call come in like 10 minutes before the last train back to Peterborough, and they didn't let me go. They ended up lending me the company car to get me home after I kicked off about the fact I couldn't get home. And I just drove home the whole way thinking, why am I doing this? I'm nearly 30. Why am I letting this idiot dictate my life when there's no logic to it? There's a better way to do this business. There's a better way for me to earn money. And from that moment on, it's been a single-minded determination to wake up every day and do the thing that I want to do that day and find a way to get paid for it. And we're almost there. Right, final 2 questions, because the parents' evening starts very, very soon. I need to be running over to the other side of the school, but I want to get this finished before I go. So Matt Guest has said, obviously Anna and the kids have been very supportive of the career change moving towards YouTube, but what have my other family members thought about it? They think I'm nuts, but they've seen me do weird stuff and make strange decisions all my life. They know I'm smart enough to not do anything too stupid, I think. But yeah, they think I'm mental, throwing away. They're very, very conservative, non-risk taking people who look at the job that I have and think I would love to have a job like that was that secure and that well paid, with the career development prospects that you've got. I would give up everything I've worked for to have a job like that, and I would never ever give it up, and you're just throwing it all away on a whim to do this silly internet thing. So they think I'm insane, but I think they also suspect that I'll probably make a success of it, because that's how I roll. And then lastly, Richard Biggs wants to know, is there any update on the weird parcel we received last week? There is an update on the weird parcel. It's not much of an update. They came and picked it up 2 days later. I emailed them. I didn't give them any details other than what was already on the label. You heard the phone call I had with them. It was the only contact I had with them, apart from the fact I took a photo of the address label, emailed it to the address that the lady on the phone gave me, and then 2 days later they came and picked it up. I've heard nothing from them. I don't care to hear from them. And that's done, I guess. It was really weird though. I still don't really get what that was about. I looked up who the company were. It turns out they were a debt collector. So I don't have any idea what was going on. Pretty sure I don't have any debts that need collecting. And if I do, why would they do it through the medium of toner? Anyway, we're going to call it there on the vlog today. This is the earliest in the day I've ever finished a vlog, I think. But I've got maybe 15 minutes to get everything onto the SD card. Hopefully get it edited together between appointments on this parents' evening. And then I won't end up a nervous wreck at 11 o'clock tonight when I'm just sitting down to start editing after I've recorded my Football Manager videos. So hope you enjoyed it. If you did, pop a like on there. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, and I'm doing some more stuff on the Lazy Students Guide channel, so if you are a student, particularly a computer science student, check that out. There's a few videos that have gone up there over the last few days. Even if you're not a student or don't do computer science, I'd appreciate some feedback on that stuff, either in the comments to this video or comment on the videos over there. Lazy Students Guide. Thank you.